Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth here, the Faculty Librarian for the Agri-Sciences faculty at Stellenbosch University, and welcome to our fourth video in our literature review series. In the previous video, we discussed how to search and manage your literature, and now we will look at the third step of your literature review, which is evaluating your literature. Just a quick recap of the steps of a literature review, which you can use as a plan of action. We will cover each step in detail in each video, but just know that these will be the steps that you take. At this point, you've collected all your literature, and you might start to feel you are reading the same thing over and over again. At that point, stop and move on to evaluating the literature. When evaluating literature, you're trying to pick out the main points of your literature and group it according to different themes which speak to your research topic. You will probably notice that there is a link between your themes and your keywords. If you haven't filled in your literature review synthesis table yet, you can do it at this point as well, because evaluating the literature will give you lots of insight. Evaluating literature is basically looking for the main points of an article. This is also a good way to critically read an article and develop those information interrogation skills which are useful in both academic life and everyday life. No more fake news for you. You will start by looking at the purpose of the article. This is often the research experiment. From that, you will look at the type of journal it's published in. Is it an academic scholarly one? The journal will help determine the audience. You want to rely on articles written for an academic audience and not, for example, articles written for a school audience. Lastly, you will look at how the article is written. That also tells you a lot about the quality of an article. A good quality article is organized, well structured, and well presented in its argument. You will also need to have a look at where the article comes from. This is especially relevant for industry-sponsored research. Often academic articles will declare this up front and state how the bias was prevented in their methodology. You want to rely on research that is up to date. Articles written in the last 5 years is what you are aiming at ideally, but you do get articles that are timeless, those seminal ones that have set the standard. You can still use those, but make sure not to rely on older articles only. We checked if the journal was a scholarly one, but you will also check whether the author speaks with authority. Scan through the affiliation and see where the author is based. You can do an author search to find other articles they've written. This is particularly useful for expert authors, as you can find quite a few papers that way. Your last check is really the most important one. What does this article mean for you and your research? If it isn't relevant, why are you including it? If it only speaks to a small part of your topic, are there not more suited and better articles? A really good idea once you've read and evaluated is to draw a mind map of your topic. You'll by now know the different areas that have to be spoken about and the main themes, and you can group them easily, as seen in this image, together. This is already structuring your literature review so that by the time you write, these are actually your headings and subheadings. It also means your literature review flows and is easier to read. Surveying the literature just means assembling the literature so that it allows you to see all the puzzle pieces and how they fit together. Ideally, when they fit together, your research project should be the overall puzzle picture. Once you've drawn out your themes, you will match your literature to these themes and complete your table. This is called surveying the literature, seeing where everything fits into place. At the end of this, you want to end up with a table of maybe 10 to 15 really good on-point articles for your research, dependent on your project of course, and maybe a few more with some support for other aspects of your research too. Now that you've evaluated your literature and grouped it, you can move on to critiquing your literature.